Thank you for the great introduction. Yes, I want to talk about the aspect of the KAS mission statement that says we want to foster global citizens here, and the related words aware, ethical, cooperative. And the point I want to make to you today about global citizenship, I think, is that the success of you as students or teachers in our school in general, our success as global citizens, producing global citizens, depends on our awareness, the awareness we bring to the small moments, the small tasks, the day-to-day stuff that we go through here at KAS. And we bring awareness to small moments. We are able to realize that each moment offers opportunity to find yourself, to practice learning, practice reflection, practice patience, practice appreciation, practice finding something about yourself new, perhaps finding something that you love. Neil and others have suggested that students do better and work harder when they're interested in the subject. Of course, that's common sense, and it's true. You see that in classrooms, and we see that as teachers. So the problem that I see with this, though, one question we have is, what can we do about this fact? What can we do about the fact that we know that students work hard when they're interested? What can we do? What can you do? Only read books that you like? Only take classes that you're interested in? Some schools are set up that way. But as you know, KAS has a curriculum. It's an IB curriculum. You have difficult classes. You have many of them are set, or that you have to take along the way. So what I want to get at maybe is, and again, in response to Neil's speech, how do we get a life while we're in school? Right? We think about how do we have a life outside of school, but if we're going to be here at school, how do we get a life while we're here? And that's where I think this awareness and going small and seeing the small moments and the small possibilities for learning, reflecting, patience, appreciating, discovering come in. So the alternative to practicing, to going and only reading books that we like or only taking classes that we like, the other way to make good on this idea that students do well and work hard at what they're interested in is to practice being interested in things, to practice liking things, to practice appreciating things, and let the work follow in the wake. So if you, outside of school, have a passion, and we've seen so much of this in the music concerts, the dance performances, the drama, what you're able to do outside of school to follow your passions is very impressive. And what I'm asking is, how do we take those moments of passion, inspiration, how do we find possibilities to bring that into our everyday, small task experience here at KAS, and hopefully also finding ourselves as global citizens. So here's a challenge for you. Think about the last time you dreaded opening a book, reading something you were not interested in. Maybe people are just straining for examples. Okay? Or the last time you passed your eyes over a passage of text and got down the page and said, I have no idea what I just read. Happens to everybody. But what I want to say here is, oftentimes if we practice, what if we say to ourselves, my goal here is only just to find one sentence in this page that's worth considering, that holds my interest, that has an idea that raises one question. And that's it. And just say, today I'm going to add one idea. So it doesn't have to be that the whole reading assignment is a drag. Instead, the whole reading assignment is an opportunity to find one thing that's worth thinking about. Think about the last time you sat in a class and think, I wish time would go faster. Happens to everybody. I can remember being a high school student and staring at the clock and saying, I'm going to remember this minute and second. I'm just going to stare at the clock and try to remember this very minute, this very second. And that was the best thing I could think of to do with my time. Just sort of stare at the clock and be like, well, I remember this 20 years from now, and I can't remember the date of that. But ask yourself, when you find yourself in a situation like this, you're there. In the small moment, find one thing to appreciate, to think about. And don't limit yourself. It doesn't have to be something you have to study that day. Maybe it's appreciating a particular phrase you hear someone use, or a particular idea, or reflect on something that happened in a previous class. You have the opportunity in those small moments to find something that interests you. And if you practice that, if you practice finding something that interests you, I think that the inspiration, the hard work may follow in that wake. If we go small and we look for and say, I'm going to start at 0, and if I find one thing that I can add today, something to think about, one sentence, one phrase, one idea. Think about the last time you were in a conversation with somebody and you thought to yourself, when is this conversation going to end? Well, just like with reading, just like with class, we have, every time we talk to someone, we have the opportunity to add something to our experience. Find one thing. Find one thing in every conversation you're in that you say, that adds something. That's worth thinking about. That's worth knowing. I just found out something new about this person. I found out something new about the world. Call it good. And this is practice. And you know, maybe after a couple weeks of this, you might be able to find 2. So my point here is, you're in school, and of course we want you to follow your dreams, and we want you to find what is you and follow your passions, and all of that stuff is very important. But at the same time, sometimes we can discover new passions where we didn't expect them. We can discover new ideas that matter to us, where we didn't expect them. And at KAS, I would invite you to practice awareness of a moment, of the possibility that a moment provides, the possibility of finding that one idea that one day. If you think about that, let's say you do that, 7 classes a day, 5 days a week, 40 weeks out of the year, that adds up. That's a lot of ideas worth thinking about. And so that's what I mean by going small. It's looking for things that are there, not listing all the things that aren't there. Finding what is there and adding it from 0, not starting at what you want and realizing how everything misses the mark. And that's an approach to the world, an approach to small moments that, I'm happy to tell you, works around the globe. It's not limited to where you are. Every conversation you're in, why not find one thing? Every time you open a book, you can't just pass your eyes over it. Well, how about pass your eyes over it and stop once? And find a phrase, find an idea, find something worth thinking about. Find something worth tweeting. Or not. So, anyway, so that's the last, my message here is, by going small, you might be surprised at how your ideas about going big change. And you might also find ways to get a life even when you're doing the thing that you don't think of as what you really care about, what really is your life. And I think that's a good thing to take with you as you go through high school and beyond. So, thanks a lot.